talk to these women here, bro. Bro, I don't give a fuck. We can do whatever you want to do. We can do whatever you want to do. We can do it. Watch how you talking to these women in here, bro. You a black man embarrassing us like that, bro. Watch how you talking to these women. Like I said, talk to a man like that.
I was talking to my girl.
I don't care. Don't get. You put your hand in her face and I ain't saying. Watch how you talking to these women, bro. Calling that lady a flyer, bro. Relax. 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 You ain't tough, nigga. You not tough, nigga.
Neither are you.
You not tough.
Neither are you.
I'm not. I'm a grown man. Watch how you talk to women.
Grown man too. Look
Fuck wrong with you, bro?
at the hero.
Ain't nobody trying to be no hero, but ain't nobody going for that. You being disrespectful. Watch your mouth,
I'm not.
nigga.
I'm not. She said I was a liar.
I'm on that.
She said
I promise. I'm on that. You don't call no grown woman no flyer, bro. It's a better way to talk to people.
Yo, it's DJ Apex, man. What's good, everybody? Listen, yeah, the guy that you see behind me in the white t-shirt, that's me. So, I wanted to just really make a quick video just to bring some clarity to the situation, because sometimes when you catch clips of an event, it doesn't really contextualize, you know, everything that happened. So, quick version of a long story. I walk up to the gate. I hear this gentleman and his significant other, his girlfriend, having a verbal, you know what I'm saying, back and forth. Not my business. People are allowed to argue. Couples, relationships, fight. I get it. Verbally, anyway. So I didn't say anything. It then escalated to him putting his hand in her face and putting it in her forehead region and mushing her, for, you know, what I would call it. So at that point in time, the two gate agents, they come over and they pretty much tell him to calm down, etc., etc. He starts talking, saying, y'all can put me off this flight. I don't got to fly with Frontier, Air Frontier, you know, all this stuff like that. So now in my mind, we're now counting the girlfriend and these two women at the gate that I feel like he was verbally aggressive to. Mind you, before I got there, they had told me that he slapped this woman. Now, I didn't see that, but that's what was said, that he slapped the woman. I just seen the mushing part and him being in her face. So now, again, that's three women, right? The girls say, okay, well, since you talking like that, we're going to go ahead and deny you boarding on this flight. At that point, they go get the supervisor, the lady that has on the orange fluorescent vest, and then she comes out. Now, the whole altercation, he's sitting down while verbally talking to these women, etc., etc. I don't say nothing. The last lady that came in with the fluorescent orange vest on, he got up and went in the general area that she was in and was holding his phone in her face and pretty much telling her she was a liar, a fucking liar, because she was recanting back the statements that the two gate agents and people in the boarding area had said, that what he had done and he had assaulted this woman. At this point, that's now four women that you being verbally aggressive to. So in my mind, I'm starting to see a pattern. You like to be verbally aggressive towards women. So I say something, I intervene. I don't got nothing bad to say about none of the other gentlemen that were in the area, but you know what I'm saying, like I had a real father, so you know what I'm saying, I was raised a certain way. And we just don't speak to women that way. Even if you disagree with her, you could have said, well, what you're saying is not the truth, but you intend to be disrespectful if you call somebody a effing liar and stuff like that, especially in the manner that he was doing it. So I said something to him, and my initial statement was, man, you got to kind of watch how you talking to these women, you know, because, you know, that's not the respectful thing to do. You know, we black men, we shouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? So I'm telling him to, like, you know, calm down, relax, whatever. And he, you know, asking me who I'm talking to or whatever, and then the aggression turned towards me, which in all honesty is what I wanted. I wanted to get the aggression off them and just be like, okay, maybe we'll have a man-to-man conversation, and then it'll diffuse that way. He goes to take off his crossbody, put it down. So, you know, I'm a man. I was gonna take my bag off too, because like I'm on whatever you want. And if you listen to the video, I said, we could do whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to have a grown man conversation and we could resolve this peacefully, we can. If you want this to go a different route, I'm on that too. And I made all of that very clear in the video. So, first of all, I guess, you know, thank you to all the people that, you know, showed their support and stuff like that through the video. But it's almost like a double-edged sword, because it's sad that we've gotten to a place in society where, you know, a person gets praised for that. I just feel like as men, we should just be doing that anyway. I'm not no Captain Saver. I'm not no hero. I'm not a person that's bigger than the program or tough or trying to be gangster, none of that. And I don't think you got to be none of that to be able to stand up to somebody that's doing something wrong or that's being verbally or physically aggressive towards women. I just don't go for that. So I wanted to bring clarity to the situation And lastly, man, it was just, I find it really sad that a lot of negative comments that were in the comment section was from men, like saying I should have minded my business and I should have, did that. And if it was me, I would have laid you out and all that stuff like that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I think we could shake hands and agree we just not the same, because if it happened 1,000 more times, I'm gonna do it 1,000 more times. We gotta stand on that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, no flight privileges, no none of that to me is worth allowing somebody to be assaulted when you have the opportunity to say something, make a stance, do anything. You don't have to be physically violent. You just have to intervene and do whatever you can in the moment. So again, that's my piece, man. I'm DJ Apex. Again, I appreciate the love. I just hope that this moment makes everybody better in the situation. Love.
All right, so I made it to the last part. I got I made it to 4 minutes and 32 seconds, right, out of the 5 minutes and 6 seconds. So the initial part of the video where we all saw the commotion that was going on, right? So then the response, right? So the guy with the locks, he decided that he wanted to come through. I probably, watching the comments online, he wanted to come through and lay down some groundwork to let people know what was happening behind the scenes, everything they didn't get retorted, right? So he said initially that there was disturbance in the force, that he intervened because specifically of how he was talking to the woman, right? Not because of the accusations that the other women stated that, oh, he was being physically, abusive, accosting women, all that. Again, he didn't see it. He wasn't there for that. There's no security cam footage or anything like that that have been released at all either, right? At least at this moment in time of recording this video and going over the information that we have. The only reason he stated that he responded to everything was because he didn't like that the guy was cussing and calling the woman a liar repeatedly. And that because he was raised by a father, he was taught that men are not supposed to talk to women in that way. There's a certain type of way that you speak to a woman. I get it. I can agree. But also, people get emotional during situations. And if people are making certain types of accusations, you're going to have an emotional response, right? So he didn't respond to the accusations of him being physical. He responded to the verbal. And I want to note to people that the things that the guy was sitting up there saying were general, that a man can say this to anybody, right? So I want people to understand and acknowledge the fact that this is a generalized statement, something that people have pretty much said at a given point in time in their life. And the guy with the locks was willing to either have some type of argument, a fight, or maybe even potentially a shootout, because he said that he was pretty much on whatever time the other guy was on. He was willing to meet him where he wanted to be met. And I want to state to a lot of men out here, that is the stupidest thing that you can do. It's on one end, if you want to diffuse the situation and you want to try to calm down the situation, cool, no problem. But at the same time, you being a guy, you know that if you intervene in another man's business, that it's going to raise the stakes, right? When it comes to a certain point in time, if a guy is talking to a woman, it's only going to go to a certain level. And usually it's verbal. 9 times out of 10 it's verbal. The 1%, it'll go somewhere else because that's the type of relationship that those people are in. That's the type of time that they are on. Either which way it goes, you as a man have 2 choices. You can A, mind your business, or you can B, mind your business. This man decided to go with option 3, which I didn't put on the board, which was that he was going to intervene. I, as a content creator, have showcased quite a few videos of black men deciding to intervene, either if it was a verbal conversation, or if it was a physical, or if it was both at the same time. Every single time that those occurrences have taken place, those black men have lost their lives. Pretty much every single time. I even brought a video that happened back in New York. It was some years ago, probably about 2, 3 or whatever years ago, where a wife stated that a guy on the street said something crazy directly to her. And the wife told the guy, oh, if you're going to be right here, stay right here. I'm going to go get my husband. Decided to go get her husband, brought him down there to confront the guy that was talking wild to her. And inevitably, the dude shot him and her. Now, I want people to know that words are words. Words are not worth anybody's life, realistically. That woman had the option of letting that all go. And her and her husband would have been completely fine and dandy. Because of her actions, because of her emotions, she enabled and placed her husband in a circumstance of which there is no return. There was another video I showcased where it was a man at a gas station where he was able to witness, I think, something verbal or maybe something physical happening inside of a car. The guy was like, this ain't sitting right. Let me decide to intervene at this gas station. It was at night. The dude decided to knock directly on the car window. Some words were exchanged. Next thing you know, right? He got fired at from the inside of the car by way of the driver, and a body was left on the floor because that black man decided that he wanted to intervene into somebody else's business. And you know what that woman did who was having that altercation with that guy? She left directly still in that car with that guy. Do you think that she stayed by that black man's body as it laid on that cold ground with his soul just, coming from the new freshly holes that were plotted directly into his body by way of that weapon? Nope. Do you think that she shed a tear? Nope. Do you think that she showed up to the funeral? Nope. Do you think that she apologized to the family? Nope. Do you think that she is praying to God every single day and thinking that he wanted to Nope. She carried on about her life as if it never happened, and she stayed directly with that guy. So all I'm sitting up here saying is at the end of the day, a lot of guys are fighting a losing battle. You think that you're doing the right thing, right? Things that we are taught, right? Things that are handed directly off to us. But in a lot of these instances, the people that teach us don't specifically teach us everything. And a lot of that gray area, you now have to go out into the world and figure out, and hopefully you figure it out quick and you don't figure it out the wrong way, because there is no second chance. Going back to what this man stated, that he was willing to meet this guy any which where. Again, that's the wrong thought process to sit up there and have. And it's great. Kudos to his dad. His dad was directly in his life, raised him a certain type of way. I'm pretty sure he more than likely may have his grandfather in his life too. Right? Great. That's awesome. But at the same time, if you as the man in your family decide that you want to risk your life for a random woman directly out here, you do know and understand the full totality that if your life is gone, then there is a gap in that barrier, right? There's a gap in that wall that is there to defend the women of your family. Because you're not going to have other random men out here just randomly deciding that they're going to protect your family. They're going to stand outside the house. They're going to pull up to the scene. If anything, nobody's going to do that. So you're potentially placing others out there in harm's way with them having lack of protection because you want to protect somebody else of a whole nother family that is not yours, that doesn't even care about you. Like I said before, go through any story where men out here have randomly risked their lives for women out here, and let me know if those women still celebrate those men. Let me know if those women are taking care of those families, taking care of those medical bills, taking care of the funeral arrangements, taking care of the kids that were left behind, taking care of the spouses that were left behind, going through and celebrating that man's birthday every single year. They're not doing any of that. You'll be very hard pressed to find any woman out here doing that. You got probably a 0.0000001% of women that are actually doing that. The rest of them do not care, and that's just being 100% honest. Do not care. So like I said before, the way that you're raised, that's great. That is completely cool. But everything that you did was not de-escalation. Everything from at least the standpoint of me looking at it, that looked like a lot of ego. That looked like a lot of pride. That looked like a lot of, I'm going to sit up there and show the people out here what type of man that you're doing way too much. Your whole thing was to de-escalate, not to escalate it further to something of which no man can return from. Like I said before, a lot of men out here are stuck on ego and pride, and it shows. Even if they supposedly have the best intentions, a lot of men are stuck on ego and pride, and again, it shows. If you want to de-escalate the situation, you de-escalate it by trying to remove the women directly out of the area. right? So therefore, it's just him arguing with himself. It's him just yelling at himself. But again, you're not going to be able to move every single woman directly out there, because the one woman that is with him, she has the choice to stay there. 9 times out of 10, those women are going to stay there. And what are you going to do about it? You're still going to keep trying to egg it on. You're still going to try to, oh, I'm going to, have him just focus on, like, come on now. And then on top of that, the thing that these guys don't even think about is that with them trying to intrude, that can easily make things 10 times worse for that woman when she gets home. If you think things were potentially bad now, when they get home, oh, it's going to be 10 times worse. Because now in the back of that man's mind, plus the argument, he's like, yo, do you even know that dude? It's like, why was he even interviewing? Why does he even care that much? Are you talking to that dude? Are you seeing him? Have y'all met up? But you're just making it worse. You are making it worse, and it's already an emotional situation, and you don't even realize it. But like I said, he said that he's not no type of Captain Saver and all this, but obviously you are. You're stating all the things that you're not. You're stating all of the things that you already know optic-wise that everybody's going to state. And optic-wise, this is exactly what it looks like, because you had the option to mind your business, but you opted not to do that. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to learn the hard way, and there's going to be a lot of women out here. You're going to lose sons. And I'm not mincing my words. You're going to be bearing a lot of your sons. You're going to be bearing a lot of the men that you find important, because they decide that they want to forego the safety of you and the women in their family, their daughters, their aunts, their grandmothers, their mothers, and whatnot, or whatever their spouses, and they want to sit up there and go out on a limb and protect somebody else. It's diabolical, because I promise you, that man has no exit plan. Once he's gone, he doesn't have some type of Batman plan where it's fireproof and it's like, well, if I'm gone, I got like 20 dudes that I know that's going to sit up there and protect my family, protect this and protect. No, don't. None of these guys out here have that type of plan. They cannot. They're not even thinking about the future whenever they do stuff like this. They're not thinking about nobody else. They're thinking about themselves, realistically. And I'm just going to be honest. They're thinking about themselves, because if the women in their lives were actually important, they would put them first before deciding to act. 9 times out of 10, they don't. Yeah. So like I said, I don't know. I'm just hoping that, people will be wiser in the decisions that they make, because if this was in a straight just club type of scene, just black area, either one or two things would have happened. Either one of these men would no longer be here, or both men would no longer be here. And that's how it normally plays out. And I've covered stories like that too. So like I said, people got to make some better decisions and choices out here with their lives to stop playing these foolish games. The airport was doing what it is that they needed to do. They were like, hey, we're going to just bang you off of this flight, all this other type of stuff, yada, yada, yada. Again, you should have just minded your business. If they were going to call the police, let them sit up there and handle that, or however else it was going to sit up there and do. But hey, who am I, right? But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.